Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's stream. Today we will be talking about the man, the myth, the legend that is Charles Manson, aka Helter Skelter. Back in August 8th to the 9th of 1969, over the course of 2 days, there was house invasions done by a cult family. Um, called they just called themselves the family, and they were also known by different names, but nowadays they're more commonly just known as the Manson family or the Manson cult. So everyone, there's a poll up there, like, because after all of his sentences, this has to do with the poll. Welcome to the panel, Geeky or Bubba. So after all of his sentences, Charles Manson had his death sentence commuted to life. So my poll is up there, that is pinned, is: did Charles Manson deserve to be executed? Personally, I vote yes. So now, in the 1960s, one of the biggest celebrities at that moment was Sharon Tate and her boyfriend Roman Polanski.
Oh, Roman wasn't home when it happened.
No. I'm just giving a backstory. Now, Roman was off on like some adventure somewhere. He was on they were in vacation mode, if you get me. Right, he was either in Italy or just about to leave Italy, but he wasn't home for a few days. So his pregnant then wife, Sharon Tate, decided to throw a party, and that is this lady herself. Sharon Tate decided to... Now, for this, I'm going to have to, so YouTube can suck my dick, talk about some no-no topics. Right? Sharon Tate, as we see here, was murdered because she was throwing a party in her mansion. Here, as you can see. Now, at this mansion, on the 8th of August 1969, there is her and her four friends. Their number always throws me off because there's this... She was pregnant, which counts as 6. So she was there with her friends, who we see here. These are all the victims of it. Now, Charles Manson, crazy, hairy bastard.
Well, do you want to cover why they were actually... why the house was targeted and why the people subsequently were?
Well, from what I heard is his backstory is that he wanted to start a race war, right?
No, this predates that.
Okay. Then okay. Why that specific house?
Okay, so dude is obviously screwed up, but
yeah,
he started fucked up and then just escalated.
Oh yeah.
The dude was born to a 16-year-old alcoholic prostitute and didn't know who his father was. For starters,
as you do.
He got dumped off because of his mother's addiction. She dropped him off. He stayed with an aunt and an uncle for a while, kept getting into trouble with the law on and off for robbery, assault, all kinds of just kind of petty anti-bullshit.
Yeah, he stated in one of his interviews, like when they were talking, it's like, I didn't kill no one. I just stole stuff and...
Well, hold on. In his 20s, he got married twice, had one son, but he still was just criminally involved. It was so bad that in 1967, he got released from a prison in California, and he was so institutionalized at the time, he actually asked them if they'd let him stay.
Fucking nut
because
job.
He was just... That was like home.
Yeah.
Food, room, board.
Yeah.
You know?
They wouldn't let him stay, so he took his ass out to Berkeley, and then from Berkeley he went to San Francisco. And at this point he was kind of older, late 20s, I think, than a lot of people who were flooding into San Francisco at the time because it's the fucking hippie decade. You got a lot of young people flooding into California. And with him being a somewhat older guy, he kind of learned to talk and be kind of influential, use his age to his advantage with these younger girls in particular.
Yes.
Not that he was doing anything untoward with them, but that he was influencing them to build himself a little support group. But his initial intention was not actually anything malicious. The motherfucker wanted to start a band.
Yeah, like literally all the people they said who were talking about the Manson family said that as soon as you go up there, he'd be walking around with these women and he'd be singing, he'd be playing his strumming. He
learned to play the guitar in prison, so in his mind he came out there and he was looking to start and get into the fucking music industry. And in fact, because of how influential he was, he made friends with a couple of girls who had connections to some more rich and popular people. So the motherfucker met Dennis Wilson, who at the time was the drummer for the fucking Beach Boys. And dude kind of introduced him to other people in the music industry. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to be a music star and all this. But at the same time, it's like, obviously other wheels were turning in his head because he was just learning more and more to hone this influence he could have over younger people.
Yes.
But what really, really seemed to tear it is when he had already, if I'm remembering properly, basically, let me double check something real quick and make sure I got it right. I've got the thing up here.
Well, the thing is that he personifies the cult of personality.
Oh yeah,
that is literally his charismatic way.
Here's where it starts to go wrong in terms of his influence in people that he knew. So, you remember he met the guy from the Beach Boys. Yes. Well, in the course of that, he met a record producer named Terry Melcher. He was the son of Doris Day, who at the time was a big deal in Hollywood. And he was the boyfriend of a model, an actress named Candice Bergen, who was also kind of an up-and-comer at the time. The dude was so influential that when they settled down in the Spawn Ranch, which is where they got arrested eventually, if anybody knows who Angela Lansbury is...
Oh, God, I do.
Her daughter was involved with them. Angela Lansbury's daughter was involved with the family. They didn't allow her to become an official member, but she was using her mother's credit cards to finance a lot of their shit, including food.
Fucking hell. I mean, let's face it, you'd expect it to be Angela Lansbury's son.
Well, here's the thing. Well, he never seemed to directly recruit the men. He used the girls to do that.
Yeah.
Easy targets.
So what happened is it was Melcher who basically shot him down with his whole music aspiration. He listened to their band as a favor to that guy Dennis Wilson, but he had no interest, so he shot him down. The reason that house got picked in particular is because that is where Melcher lived at the time of Manson's rejection. In his eyes, that was the man who basically destroyed his aspirations. The problem was at the time Melcher didn't live there no more. Tate and Polanski did. But when they busted into the house, they decided they didn't give a rat's ass who was in there.
No, actually, so Manson himself was not at the Tate house. So at the Tate house was Tex Watson, Susan Atkins. Susan Atkins was a vicious fucking bitch. So, Sharon Tate, God rest her soul, she was pregnant, full term, right?
You forgot about Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Linda Kasabian. There was a whole group of them.
Yeah, three went to this house, and the other two with Manson went to the other house, right?
No.
There was three main. These are the ones I'm. Sorry.
The only one that didn't go into the Tate house was Kasabian, Because
Yeah.
okay, so here's how this went down. They went to the house, right? By now, Manson had seen Sharon Tate at least once, so he realized that she wasn't anybody he remembered being there, but he decided to go through with it anyway. Because Hollywood elites were all scum in his eyes, and this does tie in his whole other cult thing, which I'll get to in a minute. But there was a friend of the family there who was getting into his car and leaving. And they saw him, so they shoot him first. And he's just like a teenager. They gun him down in his car. He was
one of the two. Mm-hmm.
So they gun him down in his car. Kasabian is so horrified by watching him just gun down some teenager that she refuses to even get out of the car and go in the house. She stays in the fucking car and just decides that she'll be the getaway driver. That's important to note for later.
Yeah.
But they go in, they tie up the people there, one of whom, it's a stupid aside, but everybody there had some connection to something. Like the one woman that was there was, I forget her first name, but it was her last name was Folger. She was literally the heiress to the Folgers Coffee Company. No shit. Yeah. So, and then there was a famous hairstylist was another one of the victims. And this Manson claimed that the reason they decided to go through with this is because this psychopath and the whole Helter Skelter thing, he claimed that the song was a portent of an upcoming race war between blacks and whites that would destroy society.
Yeah, so the witnesses are Abigail Folger. Oh God, I'm going to butcher this name. Wojciech Frykowski?
Hold on.
You tried, that's all.
It's Wojciech Frykowski.
Yep, foreign words. Stephen Parent.
Jay Sebring.
Jay Sebring. Sharon Tate, and the victim, although he wasn't there, but we'd still count him as victim, was Roman Polanski.
You know, he was the one who lost his wife while he was away on a film shoot.
Yeah. So those are the victims of the first night.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they chased down, they killed them. As you just said, the man in the car. Now, okay, so then they, on the lawns, they got Stephen Parent. No, they got Abigail was killed on the lawn.
They got actually what happened is they got Tate, Frykowski, and Folger, and Sebring. They dragged them into the living room.
Yes.
Right? But Frykowski and Folger actually escaped and ran. But they chased them outside and stabbed them to death outside.
They killed them in the lawn outside, which the police said that... so when the police were talking, one of the detectives, he said that he looked at the car and he's like, oh God, this is so young. And then one of the cops turned around and he walked up to him and he's like, sir, what? Hey, Bones! Good to see you, man. No worries, Bubba. We appreciate being here.
Yeah, we're sorry,
everything.
Bubba.
So, one of the sheriffs, is it? Are like the sheriffs, the beat cop
the
for
deputy.
The sheriff's department. Yeah, deputy. Walked up to him and he's like, "Sir, what?" He goes, "We found blood leading off that way." And he goes, "Did a piece of the head explode that way?" And he's like, "No, sir." He said, "Someone got cut." And he said, there's two bodies over here.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm sorry, what? He said, yeah. So they went over to the garden. And he said, and that's when they found the first two bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And when they turned from the garden, they looked in the window. And that's when they saw the next two bodies in the house. And they're walking through and they're like, my God, there's 4 bodies. And they said, well, Hollywood's going to be shocked at this. And he turned around and he said, 5 bodies. And he said, and they found Sharon Tate with a rope around her neck. Her body was partially suspended while on the ground from a beam in the ceiling with 42 stab wounds localized to her stomach.
And the only reason that Sebring didn't get it arguably as bad as she did, is because at one point he jumped up and tried to defend Sharon Tate, and so they shot him and then proceeded to kick him to death after he was shot.
Bones is saying hey to Favre. Bones is a resident house cat. Yeah. Now for anyone watching, just wondering, it's like for like shock value and that, just need to find a picture. This is what they done to him in the kitchen. That is, yeah, that is remnants of a headshot on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
For YouTube purposes, that is jelly and custard. This is the living room. Now, if there's other photos of the living room, but as with everything, I discussed it with Favre, and we both agreed not to show them for the respect of the family.
Yeah.
This is where Sharon was murdered, and just off screen, her body was dragged from the couch over, partially suspended. They don't know what killed her. That's the thing.
Kasabian, who was the getaway driver, and the one I mentioned earlier who refused to go in after the first guy got shot.
Yes.
She's the one who turned state's evidence on these guys, by the way.
So good. Good on her.
She claims that while she was in the car, she saw Frykowski actually manage to stagger out of the house after he'd been stabbed to try to escape. And when the others came out and chased him, she claims to have begged them to stop, but they completely ignored her, chased him down, and then proceeded to finish beating him to death after he'd been stabbed.
Yeah. Like, and this is one of the things that people are like, oh, why didn't they have neighbors? And because they're looking at the houses today.
Well, did you read what Spawn Ranch actually was before they got it?
Wasn't Spawn? No, I didn't see what it was before.
It was a movie set.
So the cult was obsessed with movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Manson, obviously, he wanted to be famous and everything like that.
His obsession for early on was to be famous, to be a star, as he put it at one point before he went completely off the deep end and claimed that he was Jesus.
Yeah, he also made a claim that
I'm the Pope. I'm 10 times the Pope. I'm 50 times the Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got
in the attempt to lighten the mood, I feel like it's pertinent to mention that this guy came from fucking Ohio.
God damn it, Mary Berry. Guys, keep an eye out for Mary Berry if she's carrying pies or anything. Run away.
But the other thing is that Susan Atkins, who is the one that you mentioned being a complete bitch.
Yes.
Her last words to Sharon Tate are on record. Quote, "Look, bitch, I have no mercy for you. You're going to die and you'd better get used to it."
Yes. Like, she is a stone cold fucking... Like, from what I heard from Tex Watson, tried to turn against her. He tried to get her more time. It's like, hey, I didn't do much. She should be in for double killing. I just killed this one person. Right? They all got sentenced to death, but the death penalty, when it was removed from California, was now extended to life.
This was just before California overturned the death penalty as a sentence, so they got life instead.
One of the former... I was watching an interview with one of the former cult members, and he turned around and he said it was the weirdest thing. He don't know how to explain it. He said, you looked at Manson, right? And he said that he was looking at him and he's like, his wife came and she's like, this guy is Jesus, he's amazing. And he said, out he comes this pint-sized pipsqueak of a man. And I'm going to show you him being arrested. Right? Here he is in court. He is not as big as a minute. Like, Hattie, you're a girl. Sorry. we have you checked?
Oh, whoa.
But Hallie, I'm just saying, and this is what I ask every female on the panel, right? Like, would you be, attracted to him? Because he was young. He was in his 30s at this stage.
I mean, he's a good-looking guy. Like, I can see how he has, like, the Jesus look. Like, the stereotypical Jesus look.
Yeah.
Like, the long hair, the beard.
Now, Farv, don't worry. I'm not going to ask you to read it this time. It's just something I'm pointing out. So, this is his writing. Like, it's illegible. Like, I can see
what the sad part is? I can read more of this than the other guy.
You know what? Yeah, I get that. Some of the words I can make out are coming for the trees, water, from something. It's like it's
from here. It's taken me a long time to get here from where and he crossed out a bunch of words. Could touch M. Manson. Now I got a card to play. You may look into my non-profit, I don't know, ATWA. I don't think he knew how to spell that word. And give Manson something you think he's got coming for air, trees, water, and you. Or I will pay Manson what you think Manson got coming. Yeah, it kind of scrambles, but some of it's legible.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, even though it's legible, it's incoherent.
It is definitely incoherent. But this is a guy, the Spawn Ranch. The minute he actually got people moved out there to Spawn Ranch is when people started seeing, the ones who were already enamored with his bullshit, seeing how weird he got about things. Like, example, you were not allowed to carry money on your person at any time on Spawn Ranch for any reason. You were not allowed to wear eyeglasses for any reason on Spawn Ranch.
There was one guy I saw who said that when he went up to Spawn Ranch, he said that he was walking through and he had like a pistol, and he said everyone was there, and he'd act like he was like a shooter or something like that. They were like pushing him off, and he's like, dude, like, I have a permit to carry this. It's like, it's okay. It's like, I'm a cop. And as soon as they heard he was a cop, he got suspicious, right? Because he was a marshal. He's like, hey man, I'm a marshal. He said, I'm just checking things out. Because he was on a religious journey, right? And they're like, get out. We don't want you here. You're not welcome. And he said, anyone who had, not to be crude, but he said, anyone who had a brain cell in their head wouldn't be welcome.
Well, they were kooky motherfuckers. He wanted people, and it's why he thrived in the time period he did. He wanted people who were open-minded, vulnerable, and easily influenced. And he had an influx of those during the big hippie movement in California, where there were crowds of people who had no idea what the fuck they were doing.
Yes,
just flocking to this place.
They were all lost. Now, one of the police officers, Bob Aldridge, he was talking about all the people who flocked there, and he's like, someone in the 2000s, right, just before he retired, asked him, why did so many people flock there? And he said, what you have to remember is it was 1969, right? These people were in their in their 20s to 30s, which means they were the children of the war. He said they had heard stories from their dads coming back. Yo, Professor, good to see you, man.
Hey, Specs.
I am a silly potato.
And here's where the other problem kind of came in too. His claim as to why, it's obviously a bullshit claim, but his claim as to why they chose to perform these murders when they did, because initially he was saying that the race war was going to come, it was going to cause utter chaos in the world, and that the family would be forced to go underground and hide until it was over, so then that they could return up and take over what was left. That was his original claim. But as time wore on and his race war didn't come true, then he claimed that the reason they needed to perform these killings was so that they could show the black folks how they needed to do it.
Yes, he also then when he was arrested, because so the second killing on the second night is where he himself took part.
Yes, although he still didn't kill anybody, but he went along to watch.
He mutilated. That's what he did. So on the second night, that's the Tate murders. Here we go.
The second night was Los Feliz.
Yes,
that was the La Bianca.
at the La Bianca. So with the second victim, Leno, right? He had a personal grudge against Leno, right? Everyone's like, oh, this was random. No. None about these were random. This is a guy with small dick energy having a grudge because he said that Leno did work for him. Hold on.
Excuse me.
How did he misinterpret the...
Selective interpretation.
Yeah, he's insane. That's the thing. It's like the way the way I'd explain it is, if you know the people who listen to the song and it's like, oh my god, this song is speaking to me, and while everyone else is like, that song's about a truck, man. Right?
Well, this dude was also not only delusional, but he was a huge proponent of an oncoming Armageddon, believed himself to actually be some kind of messiah figure, but he was also kind of a racist.
No kind of about it.
I mean, because here's his thing. He assumed that this race war would eventually bring on, somehow a race war was going to bring on a nuclear Armageddon. Okay?
Yes.
And he prophesized that the race war would result in the blacks reigning victorious, and then he and his family would be forced to mentor the black community because they didn't have the experience to run the planet. That was how he planned that out.
It sounds like, and the thing is, one of the sad bits about the time that he was living in was everyone was on drugs. Everyone.
A great deal of people, at any rate.
Yeah. Like, the thing about the Manson families, they were all hopped up on LSD. All of them.
He actually, it was one of the demands of Spawn Ranch. People were required to partake in LSD and then sit down while under the influence of LSD and listen to his rambling speeches. That was a requirement on the ranch grounds. You had to do it.
And, like, so, did the guy, Leno, had done work for him, and they had worked together, right? He hated Leno, right?
Well, he also hated Leno because he was another, in his eyes, another example of successful Hollywood, because the guy was the owner of like a big supermarket chain.
Yeah. Now, Leno before he died, I would honestly say this man went out with his boots on, right? Because he fought Manson off. Like, he fought him off twice.
Mm.
And Manson said that they had to break his leg to get him down onto the ground. And it's like, listen to me. It's like, no. And while he was calling off his ear, he said this.
Now you do what I say. I'm telling you. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. You do exactly what I say.
And still, he said to him, no. Right? And he said that one of the women who said that, like, when Leno was going to be, like, towards the end of his life, he looked at Manson in the eyes, and some of his last words, not his exact last words, were, "Look me in the eyes, you scum." Like, this man went out with his boots on. Like, he went out fighting. But Manson and the entire family got arrested after this.
Well, it's partially because, number two, for the second killing, they actually went out with more people than last time. Because everybody from the original murder went along with Manson himself and Leslie Van Houten.
Yes.
So they had 2 extra people this time around. And then they had Kasabian become so disgusted and terrified by the whole thing that she was willing to testify against them.
Yeah. Now, while Leno's wife died, right? And Leno was dying. Manson kept him alive for a minute before they like.
By the way, there's a conflicting report in the La Bianca murder.
Okay.
According to everything I've found, including the stuff in the Smithsonian archive, Manson didn't personally know the La Biancas. They only knew them by extent that a couple of his subordinates had been to a party in that neighborhood beforehand.
But there's also the one from the police officer claims that I heard he knew him. Like, he knew Leno, at least.
I'm not sure, because...
The thing is with Manson, if it was raining, you'd have to look out the window. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But he wrote this in blood.
Well, he did that in the first house, too.
Yeah. Like, this is the La Bianca's house. Now, Manson was then arrested. Right?
Now, that's something I'm going to send to you on your Discord.
You want me to show it?
Yeah, well, I'll send it to you and you can decide how you want to show it. But just to give you an idea of the state of these women, this is an image from when they were on their way to trial while they were in jail.
You mean this one?
Yeah, well, it's similar. No, but it's this one.
Oh.
Look at their faces, more so in this picture. It's just the casual way they're approaching this entire thing, even after they've been captured. Look at their faces.
It's not only that. They were singing. They were singing the entire way. They were singing like, honestly.
Like the one near the window looks like she's going to a photo shoot, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. And I couldn't get the picture in JPEG, but they went in bright, shiny, flowy dresses to this. And they were singing and dancing. Now, outside is what was interesting, was the rest of the family. They had all shaved their heads in support of Manson.
As if it made any difference at that point.
It made him look worse, to be honest.
Yeah, it did. Because it made him look like more of a lunatic, and his followers more so.
Yeah, like, and the thing is, like, these were the people who were, I'm just going to say the word because I don't care about being monetized, who were fighting against the Nazis, and they had seen the rise of the Neos, right? And when you come out looking like this, that ain't going to strike sanity in my mind. Honestly. But, I mean, he killed so many people. Like, they say that he killed up to 32 people. That's what's suspected.
I've never seen that able to be substantiated. They only have the two murders that they can even remotely prove.
Now, in interviews, he was asked, I'm just going to play more audio, two more audio clips. They said when in interviews, he was asked about remorse.
What am I supposed to feel remorse about? How am I going to feel remorse?
Hold on.
Well, you guys are misinformed. I haven't killed anyone.
Yeah. Oh, he made sure of that.
Oh, he got angry. He got really angry.
How am I going to feel remorse? What am I supposed to feel remorse about? Everyone says, you feel no remorse. I said, can't you understand I'm not guilty of anything?
Yeah, and he kept saying, I am fighting for my life.
Yeah, he was so convinced of this whole Messiah thing in his head, I think, that he literally thought he was doing no wrong.
Yeah.
He thought he was fulfilling some fucking prophetic bullshit that he'd been spreading to these followers of his.
Mm-hmm.
And because he himself made sure that he never dirtied his hands in that way, he just convinced all these others to do it for him.
Interestingly enough, so during the proceedings in court, which here, he was laughing himself, right? This is him in court. Laughing and everything like that. He attacked the judge. Like, he hopped over is it the rail? We call it the stand, like the podium thing.
Look,
Lasso, good to see you, man.
The court issue aside, Look, there's dozens of reasons that this motherfucker never got out of prison.
Oh God, yeah.
Because he could not control himself. It was inevitable that he would say or do something that would just cement the fact that he needed to stay right the hell where he was.
He was where, well, now he is where he needed to be the whole time.
Well, yeah, 2017 is when that happened.
27. Now, Tex Wilson is age 77 and is still in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show his mugshot. Like, because, now, for those of you who wouldn't think of it, mugshots actually get updated when you get older. When you're in prison a long time. So, this is Tex's mugshot. Look at that fucking smug face.
Yeah.
You're telling me that if he got it out today, he wouldn't go right back, oh, Manson told me to do this. Look at those eyes.
After this long, I don't think he would. I think he'd just find another excuse, honestly.
Oh, he'd honestly go back doing right the same thing.
Oh, more than likely.
Shifty eyes. Can't miss it.
Exactly.
We're saying.
Interesting. Anyway.
No, got something to say, taters. Just go ahead and say it now.
Please don't sacrifice me. But the thing is, the court were instructed not to look at him because he would hypnotize them. Right? The women were instructed to make as much of a ruckus in the court and proceedings and ruin the proceedings as possible. Now, all of them were sentenced to death. And now, the thing is, I don't know why. Hey, Matt, good to see you, man. I don't know why they don't do it like they used to back in the day, but they keep it there for evidence. Right? But I'm saying in cases like this where it's nuts and bolts, you did it. Right? It's why they don't, like, put you in jail for a month and, like, send you off to hell. Like, they kept him there for years until California repealed the death sentence. After California had repealed the death sentence, they were commuted. Now, so the women in this case who did the murders, right? Leslie Van Houten was actually granted in 2018, was actually granted parole.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But upon like people saying hey now, and they gave her a review, her parole was rejected. Right? Then Patricia Krenwelke. God, Americans have weird fucking names.
It's not an American name.
Technically, there are no American names.
That's not accurate either. Just go on.
Bite me, bitch. But, okay. But, so, she is still in jail. Right? And this is someone whose face we didn't show. But this is another member. This is upon her arrest. Look at that fucking...
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's the thing about them. They are all smug. Okay, let's listen.
Could kill.
I'm glad he wasn't executed. Every time he spoke, one could tell how insane he was. Had he been executed, he might have become a martyr.
Well, there's also the fact that, like it or hate it, the guy was a criminal psychology fucking gold mine.
That is true, but the thing is, I'm just thinking of the family. You get me? Like, now, Susan Atkins, she died in 2009. Like, she's there, and, like, this bitch is fucking nuts. That's the thing, they're all nuts. Like, look at Susie's face. Look at those fucking eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jesus.
They just look lifeless. Like, just...
Yeah, they had been in prison for 50 years. And Manson, as he got older, got more and more nuts. He got a swastika tattooed between his eyes. Harry, I don't know how familiar you are with like.
Well,
Manson
remember,
himself.
while he was in prison, he changed his claim from being Jesus to being the Antichrist.
Yes, which I think he changed that around the 80s. After the whole like satanic panic happened.
Probably.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, the satanic panic happened in late 70s, early to late 80s, which is one of the topics for season 4 of Stranger Things, where Dungeons and Dragons, some superheroes and different things, and metal music,
and pretty much almost anything else at a moment's notice,
was considered to be satanic, which actually bled over into the 90s. The last thing I heard about it was Pokemon, right? Where they claimed that Pokemon was satanic.
Harry Potter.
Wait, Harry Potter was still part of the satanic panic?
Yep. With some groups.
Oh, I even going as far as Pokemon Go, this thing is still going on. Like, the satanic panic really kind of never ended. But with Manson, like, the man is fucking insane. I mean, I've got a load of audio clips like of him, like where he's calling himself the real deal. He said that he is the negative to your light. Like,
Yeah, it would reflect. If you hold the negative up to the light, you don't see the light, you just see the negative. So I'm a reflection of your negative. There's no doubt about that.
Like, this honestly sounds like some weird biblical stuff that's after being twisted.
Well, that's kind of what he did. The man he studied religion.
Yes.
Before and during. Wow.
The devil.
Before and during
Women
the
are the
Spawn
devil.
Ranch bullshit, he studied multiple religions. He even studied Scientology, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Multiple churches, and always with the focus on Armageddon, on the end of the world by every other religion's perception.
Mm-hmm. Like, Lorenzo, you now have a wrench. Congratulations. One of us. But the thing is, like, when he was there, he also wrote a book. And the thing is, he has 3 children, right? 1 he acknowledges, and 2 he claims don't exist.
He claims a great many things, or claimed a great many things.
I mean, he claims a lot. But, like, when he was older, like, the man was just like a rambling, like, nut bar. Right? There's prisoners who said that you'd go in, like, and he'd try and pretend that he was like a big hard man in jail, like that he was the boss of all jail. No one in jail was listening to him at all. They said that there was one stage where Manson was in his cell, because he had a solo cell, right? And he was playing his guitar, and like, this is unconfirmed, but someone said that they smashed his guitar off the wall.
It wouldn't surprise me.
If I'm gonna put something in the private chat, you'll get this. Do. But
Wow.
And this is going to go to another thing that came from last week. A load of women wrote to him.
Well,
Like-
I'll say we discussed this about Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
That whole weird celebrity fucking thing that some people get about people that do this kind of shit.
It's fucking nuts is what it is. Like, I just don't get it.
I don't have words for that. It's disturbing. It's kind of like, and this was a thing when I was going to school. The chicks you meet who had this weird obsession with serial killers.
Well, that never changed. I mean,
No, but I'm saying that was a thing that is still an issue. some people just get hung up on this weird shit for some reason.
There's a load of like trash people who, if you, it's like, and this is one of the things I've noticed, and I've even seen it on like Twitter, YouTube videos, like TikToks. If some girls find out a guy's in the military, a cop, if a guy professionally deals with a gun, right? First things that comes out of their mouths is, "Did you ever kill anyone?"
Yeah.
And it's like that.
I had people ask me that.
Yeah. But, Barry, did you ever ask anyone that?
I mean, it's not the first thing I ask, but after I get to know somebody and I feel more comfortable with them, I have asked that a couple times, yes.
But I'm talking about... Charles should have stuck with making rock music.
Yeah.
He should have, but now he's making screams in hell. But the thing, Hallie, is these people are like, first time you walk into a room, sit down with them, and it's like, okay, the microphone is on. Barry, this is Steven. Steven's a cop for 17 years, and you turn around and it's like, "Hi, did you kill anyone?" It's like, "Hi, my name is Steven."
It was like when we were in North Carolina, I got a jacket. It's got my old military deployment patches on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I do carry a sidearm, and I had people ask me that dumb shit.
Yeah, like I've heard people asking like my relatives that, like, who've served. They're like, "Oh, did you?" And it's like, why are you? Like, that's the thing. And now in a lot of true crime things, a lot of the main proponents and the biggest viewers of CSI, NCIS, like Criminal Minds, all those type of programs, Bones and everything like that, are women. The show Lucifer deals with like crimes and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The main viewership of that show was women. So
as a woman, speaking from my own personal...
defend your sex. Go ahead.
So I'm just saying, like, it's been scientifically proven that, like, men don't think the way that women do. So women, we like to analyze. We like to, like, really, really dig deep and, like, see, like, mentally what they're thinking, emotionally what they're feeling, like, what things led up to that to get to them to where they are, all that stuff. So it's just, I don't know. Women just find it fascinating because, like, we're more. I mean, we're not completely. Like most women typically are a little more empathetic. Not saying that men aren't. They are. They can be. I'm just saying that women is typically what we do.
Well, you're nurturers. You're the ones who spend more of the time with the kids, so you're more nurturing.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying that's why I like because it's just like, wow, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe like that happened. Like, all those events led to that one big main thing. Like, that's
and
crazy.
I also think that when you bring up CSI and NCIS, I think I didn't really care for CSI. NCIS, I do watch or did watch.
NCIS is genuinely a good show.
Yeah, and I mean, apart from, I cannot remember her fucking name from the first season, the Secret Service agent that joined them. I just forgot her name.
Yeah,
but I liked her and Abby. But apart from that, most of the stuff was well written. It was clear research was done.
Mm-hmm.
And the stories they gave were interesting enough that I wanted to see what had happened and how it worked. But the thing is, there's like a certain degree that's like in the back of my mind, even if it's inspired by something that happened, I know these are not real cases.
Right.
So I don't feel especially harried or guilty about going, this is interesting. I wonder how this is. There's a thing that I understand being interested. Obviously, I mean, we talk about the shit and I know some of this shit, but the fascination with these actual cases sometimes kind of disturbs me.
there's a show called 48 Hours.
It's not.
Sorry,
Oh.
Barry.
I was gonna say it's not like necessarily like a fascination, like an idolize or anything like that.
It's a
just,
shock factor.
Well, not in your case,
personally,
but
some
yeah,
people
in
maybe.
your case, yeah, exactly.
Some
That's what
people
I'm getting
maybe, but I don't know. It's
But the thing is, like,
at. I'll put it this way, Barry.
yeah,
You can sit there and you can actually tell me that it's just interesting to you, whether it just be for analytical purposes or curiosity of how something worked out or what somebody might have been thinking, right?
well, I think it's because I've never experienced that before. I've never had to like go through that. Like I don't have that experience, so it's interesting to like put myself in those shoes.
Yeah.
And that I understand. What bothers me are the people who I did meet one or two. I could ask them, right, why is this so interesting to you? And it was either some weird fetish thing,
Yeah.
or they were like, I just love this person and the things they do, and I find it so fascinating how they can. I'm like, okay, you know what, you have a problem.
For
like
me,
the Ted Bundy stuff. You know?
yeah, for me personally, it's psychology. I like
psychology.
finding out, and it's like seeing how compared to how we live, right? Of like what can be the worst of us, like of how someone's life. Because if you hear some of these people, it's like how their lives can go from being relative, like I'm driving a car, buying a house, like raising a kid.
And there's merit to that. One of the biggest things that made people so obsessed with the Manson case was that some of these girls were your literal innocent girl next door types. And it really, it startled and terrified people in California at the time that even girls like this could just go this dark this quickly.
Well, that's the thing that I have found with a lot of, like, when it comes to serial killers, a lot of these girls who do pal along, they tend to have a few screws short. Like, some of them, I'm not saying mentally, like, not all of them, but to do this, you'd have to, like, not all be there. You get me? Like, some of them I find do tend...
I'll lay it out this way.
Yeah.
Being easily influenced because you're inexperienced or young is not necessarily the marker of there being something inherently wrong with you. It just means you're unfortunately very susceptible to suggestion from someone that you view as wiser or you know, more worldly than you are.
Yeah, but the ones who do the murders, like that Susan one, right? She has a history of anger issues. She has an aggression problem and things like that. And that's one of the things that you'd see a lot of the ones who do the murders. They seem to have the two things connected: aggression issues and easily influenced. Which means that someone can easily influence them to get like into their aggression side, basically to go from I'm going to punch you in the face to stabby, I'm making speed holes in you.
Because I had plenty of aggression issues and shit like that growing up, but I was not easily influenced. Hell, my mother had a hard enough time getting me to pay attention to what she said.
Like,
see, like me personally, I think that these younger girls, because, you know, I used to be one. I know how it was.
A girl or younger?
Oh.
I know how it feels. You know, like, you get to a certain age where, like, I mean, being a teenager is just, like, really
that
hard
sucks for everybody.
Sucks for everybody. But, like, you know, women, they change, they grow, and, like, you know, they start getting a little more attention from the men because they're growing.
Mm-hmm.
And,
well, and then you start going through that other bullshit, which doesn't make life any easier.
Yeah, you know, like the hormonal change, all that stuff. So, like, just to get, it's not for everybody, you know, like, some people are different, but, like, in my personal experience, from, like, that standpoint, you know, when somebody gave me a little bit of attention, I really liked that, so I would want more of it. I, like, feel appreciated, feel loved. There's, like, something lacking that I didn't always have, so it's just, like, that was nice. So, like, I could see how it happened.
Oh, I could understand, especially if you were really adrift and didn't know where the hell you were going on. That's the problem. it's the state of life these girls were in is what made them perfect targets for him. They were directionless. They were stoned to the gills in a lot of cases. They were living in this confusing ass period of this whole free love movement thing.
Yeah.
And
Their parents
he drew them in. And, you know, as twisted as it was, they felt he was giving him some kind of higher purpose.
Yeah, and a lot of these girls, like, their dads had seen the worst war in history. Like, they had come back from World War II. Then, not only that, on top of it, then you had the Korean War.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, one of the girls who, not this case, a different case I was watching, from that era, she said that her dad ended up taking his own life. He said because when he saw the Vietnam War, he said, I cannot live in this constant cycle of war. And he ended up taking himself out. Like, the thing is, the girls grew up with dads who had seen hell. So they were possibly looking for a father figure or male attention.
Yeah, or both. But also,
Yeah.
it could be like a little bit taboo, you know, like it's like, oh, like I know I'm not supposed to do this, but like, oh, this is exciting. It's
Well,
the thrill
part of
it
that
all.
taboo was what drew a lot of people to that movement.
So
Yeah. Which, and I'm sure the free drugs and everything. But with 4 minutes to go, Farb, would you like to show your book out?
Yeah, sure. So I am, at the moment, a published author, self-published, but just the same. And since our friend Max isn't here, because she normally does it, this is my book. There's the title. It's on Amazon right now. It is available in hardcover. It's also in an ebook format if you want to just use your little ebook reader on your phone or whatever. It's a fantasy novel I'm currently working on the sequel for. And yeah, that's pretty true, Bone. I grew up there. I'm not going to dispute that one fucking bit.
And it appears Ohio has as well. A lot of serial killers are from Ohio. Ted Bundy and Manson.
But
maybe it's in the
a lot
water.
of townhouses.
But there's a link to my book on my banner on my YouTube channel.
Farb's channel will be linked in the description below after the end of this video.
Thank you, by the way. I appreciate that. It's called For Vithian Guard. My brother and I do a lot of gaming episodes on there. We do live streams on Mondays and Thursdays. Occasionally on Wednesday, depending on if something else is or isn't going on at the time. But Monday and Thursday are our normal streaming days. And then we do recorded videos that pop up periodically. Sometimes we do discussion videos. Those are kind of here and there when we have something notable to talk about. Then we do those discussion vids. But by and large, it's a gaming channel where my brother and I either play games together in co-op or we do co-op commentary on a game that one of us is playing just to fuck around, basically.
There is the link to his book has just dropped in the YouTube. I'll grab you the link to the YouTube proper now. My about, my channels. I have to fix that in a minute. Here we go. And this is the link to Farb's channel. There we go.
Thank you.
See? Yeah. Barry, is there anyone you want to channels or anything like that you want? Oh, guys, Laszlo, you want to push the link in here and we show you out? Barry, is there anyone you want to shout out or anything? Anyone you want support or anything like that?
I just want to say thanks for letting me join your live stream.
I mean, you're more than welcome to come back.
Yeah.
Anytime you want.
This is my first live stream, and I don't have any channels or anything. I just got the invite, and I was like, why not?
Yeah, we were trying to get you and our friend both, but then she got sick, so that didn't exactly work out.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
And we were meant, guys, go check out Geek Hero Bubba on
on Twitter.
If you like watching leftists cry. Guys, go check out Joker's voice. He's like he does a lot of like nerd commentary, talking about the TV shows, the movies, things like that that's going on. Then he's also working heavily with the Stutter Foundation, like, which is a great charity. Thank you, Tony, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony.
Guys, go check out Tony Nasser. Same, like, the channel's got the same name. Like, great guy as well. Go check out like John DeMarco. Check out his channel.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? You forgetting anyone, Farv?
Not off the top of my head that anybody that you're affiliated with. I tend to advertise people affiliated with my channel on my stuff, so I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Take it over. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we've hit the 1 hour time, so hey, we filled up time. Oh, guys, yeah, Janet from Another Planet is live. Go right over there and fill her chat with potatoes. Tell her Potato Reverend sent you for all the potatoes over there. Just she'll be so confused. But guys, thank you so much for watching now and in the future. And if you're in the future, please remember that Earth was not always a dystopian, that I just kind of fucked up. I did not mean to overload the warp core. It just got full of cats and I don't know how to get them out. I know, Tibbles! Wow. Stop floating around in there! But, yeah. So, guys, I will see you later. Everyone have fun. Yeah, Bones is from the future where every single person has been turned into a cat. So, everyone have a good night, good day, God bless, and remember, if you're going to murder someone, at least make it interesting.